So that MR was known all the way through the Nile Valley civilization. However, where was the origin of this term MR? Meru, Meruwao, Merewe, Merewi, Medewi. Where was the origin? Well, we come back to another Bantu rule. This Bantu rule says that the letter R and the letter L are interchanged. It is pronounced R, Nerowe, Merewi. See, it's trilled such as when the Latin people took it in Spanish and whatnot, and they made it with the trilled R, the double R, to signify a difference between the short R or the single R. So when we look at the other Bantu rule I get to here, when we say the abrupt Ra, it can also be interchanged with the D, Ra. So it was either Merewe or Merewi. You really couldn't tell the difference because, again, these were oral traditions and languages. And the Europeans wanted to quantify it. So when we speak it in the oral senses, we're looking at it and we're showing how our people's tongues evolved over time into what you know as different dialects and whatnot. So let's go a step further and take it a step farther up the Nile River. Let's go back to what Dr. Ben said. And many of our scholars already understand that our people came from the foothills of the mountains of the moon, where Hapi sleeps. Well, where did Hapi sleep? The origin of the Nile River is Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. Okay, this is the origin of human civilization. The origin of humans, period. This is the origin of us. This is where we came from. With that, we have to understand that we've always had tradition. We've always had culture. We've always had civilization. We have always had language. Always had reverence for our people. And always had reverence for our land. And this shows in this very word that Bakuma using their language as MR, Meru, Medowe. Because there's a mountain, a huge mountain in Kenya called Mount Meru. And it's the great mountain of Kenya. Many of our people are buried in or near that mountain because this is where we came from. How do you know this? Because there's an indigenous people called Ameru, the Ameru, and they speak Kimeru. And this word Meru followed all the way northward. And it even went southward. This word Meru can be found in the southern Congo in a lake called Mweru. But as they travel northward, as I said, you see the city Merowe and you see the Bakuma using Meru. And so therefore, in burying their Bawana, I know you want to say Sultan. I know you want to say Pharaoh. I know you just want to leave it as a simple king. But we'll take it back to what they used in burying the Bawana, Baba. And burying them in the land of Chikoma, the land of ancestor spirits, Bakuma Bantu were in effect, by concept, carrying on our tradition and remembering our people and our ancestors who began, lived, and were buried at the great Mount Meru in Kenya. This is why they built these three Meruwao. They represented Kilimanjaro and Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda area. They represented this land of mountains that we came from. Some say they represent the Osirian stars and the belt of Orion, or however you want to say it. That may be so, but we taking it to reality. Let's bring it back down to Earth Mother. These three pyramids represented mountains. And as our people were buried in these mountains of Mount Meru of Kenya and Kilimanjaro, they are also so buried in Chikoma in these three mountains. I know I've heard people such as the Setis and some more people say that we shouldn't use the word Kemet. No, we shouldn't use the word Kemet. because he said it was a commoner's word denoting the black land and soil and silt from the Nile, and we should call it Tamari and things like that. But in proper understanding, we really should be calling the land what it should be known as, which is often mispronounced as Kemet. So when we look at the word Kemet, KMT, we're actually calling it the land of our ancestor spirits, because that's what it is. And so that would be called Comanche. As you notice, the Comanche people of the United Snakes of America, the ancient America. This is where the word Comanche comes from. Comanche came directly from where our people began. More evidence of how our people established this entire Earth Mother. So with that said, I will say MKuu-RA, and I look forward to each and every one of your comments and input.